Hi, this is Chef Alba. I am also one of the Doms. I was born in Naples, Italy, but raised in Tunisia, North Africa. So these dishes that we're making today are very, very familiar to me. The dish that I'm making today is called Seffa, and Seffa in Arabic means grains. So this is not a dessert. This is a light meal that is used to bring to a festive occasion, such as a birth of a baby, a marriage, or even a funeral. So what happens is everyone makes their version of it because everyone, depending on the village or the family, has their own version of it. And they will bring a plate to whatever the festive occasion is. So today we're not going to make a big platter because we don't have a festive occasion, but I will make two dishes for you that you can get an idea how you can decorate the plate, because part of it, the surprise, is that you can do different things to decorate it to make it very, very attractive. So we're going to start off with couscous. Couscous is semolina made from durum wheat. And the first thing we're going to do is put a little bit of olive oil on it. And the reason I'm doing this, and my mother and my grandmother used to do this as well, is you want to lubricate the pellets or the grains a little bit with the olive oil. So what that does is when you put the warm water, it is not going to stick. So it actually keeps it from also forming lumps. So as you can see, I'm rubbing the olive oil, and you want to put just enough so that it's not sticking together. Okay, and the other thing I'm going to do is put a tiny bit of salt and a tiny bit of pepper. And again, I'm going to be rubbing it like this through my fingertips. And once that's done, I'm going to put warm water on it. So if I have 3 cups of couscous here, there's going to be 3 cups of warm water. But before I do that, I want to add some rose water into the warm water. So usually, usually you put a little bit, not too much. So this is a capful, and a capful is about a teaspoon. So I'm going to put all the warm water all at once. There's no need to stir, you just leave it be, and immediately cover it with a plate or any kind of cover you have, a pan cover. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to come back in about 5 to 10 minutes. So now we're going to prepare the couscous, and then we're going to decorate it. Today I'm going to actually do 2 different decorations for the couscous, but there are so many ways to decorate it. So I'm just going to give you 2 ideas, but you can actually make your own design with it. So let's get started. Let me get this couscous here, which is, as I told you, it shouldn't have any lumps, and as you can see, it doesn't because of the oil that we put in. So what we're going to do is mix it up first. At this point, we're going to add 1 stick of melted butter, and then we're going to add some chopped apricots. So I just took an apricot and chopped it in little bites, and that goes in. And then we're going to add some dégla noir dates. And by the way, dégla dates that stands for fingers of light in Arabic. And I don't know if you know, but the actual date tree is a tree that lasts at least 300 years, and it bears lots of fruit, probably 100 pounds or so for each tree every year. So it is a sacred plant to the Arabs, and it's called the fountain of life because it produces so many fruits. So here's the dates. And then always golden raisins. And if you happen to purchase gold raisins, they're a little bit dry, then just soak them in warm water, just a little bit, and then rinse them, not rinse them, but drain them, and then add them to the couscous. So the other thing we want to add is some crunch. So these are toasted almonds. I've toasted it in a pan very lightly. You don't want to burn them, so make sure you toast them in very low heat in a frying pan just until you smell the aroma and then turn off the heat. So we have everything here that we can use. Now, there are some that include other kinds of fruit. This is the traditional dish, so I'm going to stick with it. But if you had other dried fruit in the house and you wanted to use it, that would be fine. There's also, depending on where you come from in North Africa, so it's Maghreb, which Maghreb is Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, Libya, and Mauritania. But normally this is a dish that's made in the Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. So you can also make it with rice, or you can make it with a pastina. It's a special tiny little pastina, but I prefer the couscous. So now we have our couscous that has been mixed very well. And we're going to start off with filling the plates in the middle first. So we have a nice good structure. I'm going to do the other one as well. So we can kind of start the pyramid, I call it, the little mountain. And then we'll decorate them just slightly different. Sometimes fresh grapes are put in the middle. That's up to you. If you prefer to do that, you can. And make sure that they're seedless grape. So right now I build the structure for my pyramid. And this is basically what I can do with my spoon. And now there's no way out of it, but you just have to use your hands. So here we go. I'm going to use my hands and create a little pile. I'm going to shape it a little bit like a pyramid. There we go. I just press down lightly. What's holding it together is the butter that we used. So the butter holds it together. And another reason why you want to bring this festive dish to an event is because if you're in a hot sun, this will hold up really well. And that's why it's a very popular dish, also used in Ramadan, and it's eaten during Ramadan as well. And it's considered a healthy dish. So here we go. We're going to build the next one. So for 3 cups of couscous, as you can see, I built 2 plates. You don't have to have a Moroccan plate to do this, and even a flat plate will work. But this is easier if you're going to serve. If you're going to serve it, then this will be a lot easier to scoop out. Okay, so we now have 2 dishes. And let me just clean this up a little bit. And we're going to start decorating. So the first thing we want to do is probably, it doesn't matter which one you start with, you want to sort of align your fruit around the couscous. So you have the various colors. So as you can see, I'm starting with the dried apricot. Just cut them in half, or you can use them whole. It depends how much fruit you like. So this is the first one. Now you can choose either half or put a whole date, depending on the size. This is a smaller date, so I think I'm okay with putting the whole date. You just go around. Sometimes degla dates are this small, and sometimes they're very, very big. So if I had this large one, I would probably cut it in half. Okay, so let's continue our decoration. Here we go. I remember as a child, I would walk around and see date trees everywhere. Every time we took a Sunday drive, well, not drive, we walked. I could actually walk around and see these beautiful trees. And I didn't realize how lucky I was to have that. And they bloomed all year long. So we got fruit from them all year long. So this is one decoration. And then here we have cinnamon. So with cinnamon, you have to decide before you start. I kind of just sprinkle it on so I don't get big globs, like go high a little bit. And now we have a sprinkle of fresh cinnamon, warm cinnamon. Okay, now it's not served with sugar, so that's why it's not considered a dessert. But you normally would either serve it with white powdered sugar, brown sugar, or this is actually date sugar, which I like very much. So you would serve this on the side, and your guests would, if they want to add it, they can add it, or they leave it out. So this would be one decoration. And now we'll work on the second plate. This one, actually, let me add a couple of almonds here just for crunch. You don't have to be too creative. You just put them on like this. All right, so now we're going to work on this one. For this one, I'm actually going to use hard-boiled eggs, which is also very common. And this would be a pretty healthy dish that you could actually create a meal out of this. So the nicest thing about these couscous is that the decorations mean a lot. And of course, the ingredients that you use are always special. So for this, I think I'm just going to use a cinnamon stick on top, just for a little bit something different. And then I'm going to continue with the dates, because I love dates so much. And I like the contrast of color too. Moroccan cooking, Tunisian cooking is all about color. So now we have the dates and the eggs. So now let's go with some apricots a little bit higher. Okay, so here we go. Let's just add a few apricots just for more color and more flavor. All right. And let's add some almonds because they're always delicious. And if you didn't like almonds or don't have almonds and you want to make this, you can use other nuts. I've tried it with hazelnuts, which I love, or pistachios. So it's your call if you happen to have it. Again, we're going to sprinkle some cinnamon, go up high. And it's nice to have a little bit of that cinnamon right on the eggs just so that for color. And sometimes around Christmas time, I use dried cranberries because they actually add a nice color to it. So here we go. We have 1 and 2 different designs for the Seffa Couscous, which is, again, a very traditional, it's a traditional dish of North Africa where I was raised. And you don't have to have a festive occasion. Sometimes when I have a lot of company, I just want to make something cold for a picnic. I'll make one of these, and it's always, always appreciated. So the last thing I want to say is that besides the flavor and the colors of this dish, it's a great idea if you can make it for picnics or just bring it to the next festive occasion. And because it is considered for social events, a sign of hospitality. So if I bring you the dish, it's my way of showing you that I care for you. And if it's brought to me, it's also a sign, a symbol of hospitality. So I want to thank you today for joining us. And now we're going to go to the next chef for the next recipe.